Hey everyone, Destination Truth here. Today I want to show a video of a event that I really wanted to go to, and I was really pissed that I just, at the moment, I'm a debt slave like most of you still, which really sucks. And I just didn't have the means to get out there to Virginia to join what I thought was going to be an amazing event. Basically, the Propertarians, led by Curt Doolittle, were leading their rally or their declaration of Reformation. And I really wanted to go, but I just couldn't. And to be honest, at this point, I'm almost glad I didn't, to be brutally honest, because if you know anything about the Booga Boy boys, these guys wearing Hawaiian shirts and are armed to the teeth, I think they're mostly federal agents, CIA especially. It just looks like the right outfit for them to basically, suppress and terrify anyone that's in opposition to the federal government. And right now, we're watching a video. This is the best video I could find of the event. All the other videos that I could find of this event have been taken down. It's very hard to find footage of this. And basically, this is the best one we can find. And it's from the perspective of the Boogaloo boys, which are, again, I think they're federal agents. And they're basically trying to shut down this event and or hijack it, which they do, which is just terrible. So this is my reaction to the video, basically. And again, I really have been following propertarianism for only about 3 months, but I really like Curt Doolittle. He's a very smart intellectual. He seems pretty articulate, but what it comes down to, what I realized in this video is that, unfortunately, I just don't think he's a true leader. He doesn't have what it really takes to lead a movement. Maybe he can be an intellectual leader. So what we need him to do is basically write a book about propertarianism, one that really makes it easy for a lot of people to understand it better, because it is pretty complex. His trifecta of government, if you will, and how that's supposed to work. But basically, we have a big group of Boogaloo boys shouting down this whole movement right now. They're starting to say, white supremacist. There, I'll give you the video audio right now. All right, so you've heard enough. So at that moment in time, that interrupts the event, and they have to deal with what is a quite literal threat. Literally, these CIA agents and their followers are literally armed to the teeth, more so than all of these propertarians over here, and they're basically saying, "Hey, stop the movement." This guy in red, honestly, some of these guys are honestly just a bunch of cucked liberals, basically, but nonetheless, it interrupts the event, which is really bad because they didn't have any catchphrases to come up with right away. Which, I mean, hey, I wouldn't have had one either, to be honest with you. You have to think about this stuff in advance, and luckily, I'm a planner type, so if I was putting on an event like this, I would have my own loudspeaker, and I'd have a whole bunch of fire ready and loaded, ready to go, basically. And that's what I think needs to happen here. So I'm going to fast forward now and talk a lot about Doolittle and why I'm afraid he can be an intellectual leader, but he cannot be the leader of any form of movement that will actually instigate a peaceful reformation or any kind of civil war or any kind of schism of America that will result in legitimate separation. Because let's face it, the federal government, after the first Civil War, they will never relinquish control over the states. The federal government never relinquishes power once they have it. It only gets bigger. It does not get smaller easily. Donald Trump has done an amazing job, by the way. So go Trump and go Trump 2020. Nonetheless, so we can't see him yet, but Curt Doolittle here, he's sweating balls, literally. There's rumors going around that he might have pissed himself. I don't think that's true. When you see him here, I'm fast forwarding because he does give some moving speech moments here. The problem is he is basically reading off of a little notepad. None of this is memorized. which is a real letdown. I would have liked to see a leader memorize a speech. Now this do you see this African American man has his arm on a white man's shoulder who has led him in straight up to the leader of this organization. That is showing a level of respect, but at the same time he's being led straight to the leader, which is it is something I don't think you should have tolerated, honestly. I'm going to talk about what I think Curt Doolittle should have done, to be honest with you. So, and it's going to be hard to hear because I know some of you are going to be like, wow, that's really a hard stance to take. Okay, here we go. So here's Curt. Again, he's reading off of papers, like loose leaf papers, a notepad. This is not leader material. You need to memorize a speech of this importance. This speech is going to kick off your online group ideological movement into a real life movement. This is a pivotal moment in time and history, and you are dressed like a slob. I mean, look at this guy. He's wearing a open white shirt. He's sweating bullets, so I wasn't lying about that. Half of his shirt is soaked. The other half has a blotch under his breast, and his groin is bleeding sweat. So, again, some people say he might have pissed himself. No, he did not piss himself. I'll give him credit on that one. Nonetheless, dressed poorly. He often wears these hats that conceal him and his eyes. That is not leaderly. That is cowardly. You are hiding yourself. You're hiding your eyes. Eyes are the gateway to the soul. This is subconscious stuff that's been known for a long time. And people that read body language like myself can just tell that this man has fear. So he's not capable of really being a leader and withstanding the kind of criticism and hate which he will have to tolerate if he is going to be a leader. That said, again, so far, not impressed. He looks like an average Joe that just walked up off of the beach, and he's not dressed appropriately. I don't like taking low, below-the-belt jabs, but I have to say this man is overweight, and he is sitting down. The fact that he is sitting down being addressed by these BLM representatives shows he's kind of already defeated. It just, we're talking about subconscious realities here, and the fact of the matter is we need someone, you're going to lead the movement, you need to be young, you need to be strong, you need to be brave. And so far, he's gotten F on all of this, so that's unfortunate. Really too bad to see that, because a lot of people following the proprietarian movement really believed in Curt Doolittle and believed there's a lot of potential here. He's a very smart man. I'll give him that credit, but not the functional genius that is Trump. Secondly, I just want to say this is a moment where he actually gives a speakerphone to a representative of BLM, which is a known Marxist group. So I'll just restart that and just play it over. But basically, BLM is known to be a Marxist group. He's sitting down and he just said, say whatever you want to a representative of BLM, who is a representative of a communist ideology and a spearhead of the movement that is destroying America. Okay? So that's it. You just lost before you began, Curt. I'm sorry, but you are a cuck. You can't represent this movement. You can be an ideological author that helps get something going to save this country, but it's not going to be you. You're not a Ceasar. You're not. I'm sorry. And to be honest about anyone that leads this movement, there will be some skirmishes and battles. It's not going to happen peacefully. The federal government will not relinquish power peacefully. And if we can do this on Trump's second term, at least Trump will protect us from the federal government exercising its military force on the people, probably. I would say that. He might be able to protect us from that. But anyways, what I'm really sad about, to be honest, what I'm just really sad to say is that Curt, you really let down John Mark. John Mark helped set this thing up. John Mark has been putting in more effort and putting more blood, sweat, and tears on the line for you than you are. And you failed him. And I don't blame him at all for deleting everything, because what he realized is that the man that he has been pushing up is a charlatan. And it's just tragic, guys. It's just tragic. So I think I've spoken enough about why Doolittle can't be the leader of the real movement that gets going. But what we see here is that there is a backbone to this group. There's a lot of them. There's just not enough of them to be able to proudly, strongly, and legitimately fend off this group of buggalos. I was about to say juggalos. They kind of look like juggalos in Hawaiian shirts. Anyway, nonetheless, these proprietarians are mostly completely unarmed. And again, they chose to infiltrate a Second Amendment rally to get more numbers, to help bolster their numbers. So to be honest with you, I'm sad to say that if it wasn't for the Second Amendment rally, there might honestly only be 100 people here, but instead there's maybe closer to 200 here. So, the numbers are not big, but the reason why is because people are scared. There's a Australian minister that just released a compilation of 3 revelations that he received from God that are extremely interesting. I will put a link to his video down below, but in short, basically he said in his 3 revelations that he received, he saw 2 giants on the land mass of America that were facing off like football players, and one had hate on him and the other one had fear on him. And between them was a small remnant, a white feminine figure that was separating them and keeping them from fighting or keeping them from colliding. And that was the remnant of Christians in America. But it was a small figure, and it was not going to be strong enough to stop these 2. And the fact that it is feminine also is not a good thing. It needs to be remasculinized. And that's just my thought. I don't want to put that into his revelation, but nonetheless, the scariest thing about the dream is that what he saw was all over the world there was many attack dogs that were chained to countries such as he said China, Southern Europe, the Middle East, Northwestern United States, Mexico, and basically all over the world. Russia is another one, I think. So basically, he was given the information to know that they are tethered in place until America falls. And when America falls, the whole world is going to fall into chaos. We're going to go into another dark age. It's not going to be good, guys. So this movement, these people are labeling us white supremacists, yada, yada, yada. We're not. We just realize that there are differences of opinion, and that is it. And that we need to be able to peacefully separate and to save a remnant of the original United States-style founders, people that want to reinforce the Constitution and strengthen it and basically make our nation states really powerful so that the states can experiment and have a wonderful existence for the people living in them more easily, and have more small states like the 13 colony sized states, less Californias and Texases. They're way too big. People want to be free to follow their own destiny, and that's why multiculturalism has failed, and I've just made a video about that as well. Please check out that video. And basically, in closing, I just want to say that a real leader understands that there are spiritual needs of their people, and they need to be brave, they need to be bold, and they need to not be cucked. They cannot give power to the enemy. Communists are the enemy because they are Satanists. Okay? Now, I didn't choose or want to be any kind of leader, to be honest with you, but nonetheless, I'm praying a lot these days, guys, as you should be too. And I'm being given insights that are really profound. And I don't know, guys, I might be forming my own reformed version of Christianity, because the way I see it, Christians have been divided over all kinds of things, and there's no pan-Christian ideology right now. There's no single church that everyone can buy into, and God's giving me something, and it's blowing me away because I just don't feel worthy. I don't feel ready. I don't feel adequate enough to do this. But if no one else will, if we cannot find a real leader, I will step up because I am brave and stupid enough to take on the hate. And we'll see what happens, guys. But Curt Doolittle, you could be an excellent Secretary of State type figure, but you just are not going to be a George Washington. I'm sorry. Nonetheless, this is my reaction. Thank you for watching, guys, and please like and subscribe because I have been shadow banned. So if you're seeing this, you're one of the very, 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 very lucky few because I have not gotten a single subscriber since 2017. So hey, again, if you are watching this, you're lucky to be seeing it. And please help me out by liking and subscribing and spreading the good word in places far and wide on the internet. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.